Hey there, you're listening to BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, and MMA on occasion. Here's your host, RJ Carbone.
And a high drive into left center field. Stanley's going to watch another one fly. Are you kidding me? DiVincenzo a three. Bang! Bang! Knicks take a
Take this time to apologize to absolutely nobody.
At the wall. See ya! See ya! See ya! Mr. Nova.
Anthony for three. Bang! That one goes down and the game is tied.
You shook up the world again.
I did it again. But God did it, man. I really just had
Gonna have to. Brunson running away. Oh my! He has been the best player to put on that uniform.
Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
Episode 843 of the podcast. Welcome. The Yanks go ice cold in Motor City. Tough week in Detroit. Thank God it's over. But that was tough. It was a very annoying series. You know, I thought the Pittsburgh series was boring. That one probably makes the Pittsburgh series seem like a postseason series. Just between just the ice cold bats, the losing, you know, just nobody was there because it was extremely cold. They had to move the time to the beginning of the day, and people are working. Not everybody's got time, so it's just like it was brutal. And everybody's complaining about the cold weather. You got the team complaining, you know, players like Jazz Chisholm, fans and analysts. It was just, I'm glad it's over. But yeah, you're starting to see some cracks in this Yankees team, man. You know, and I'm not going to jump to any major conclusions. Why? Because it's April 9th. And some of us have absolutely no clue how to watch a 162. In the past, I've been a victim of that, but I'm trying this year to be as reasonable as I can, and I feel that 3 series in, I've been reasonable so far, and we'll see how we act in this one. But yeah, their fourth series of the year, they lose their second of their four series, so not a great start for the Yankees this season. They're 7-5, if you want to look at that in an optimistic way. They're on pace to win 94 games, and they're currently in first place, I believe. But who cares? Yeah, it wasn't fun. And we're going to dive into this series. Are the Yankees closer to what they were against Milwaukee, or are they closer to what they were this past series? They're somewhere in between for sure, but I think as currently constructed, they're probably closer to what they were against Detroit this series. You know, but the good news is, as currently constructed, this roster is probably not going to be what we're seeing in the second half of the season. So let's, without further ado, dive into the series. As we usually do, we will recap each game, and then after, we will talk about certain storylines to follow. But yeah, where do we want to start? Game 1 of this series was that Monday? The Yankees lose on Monday 6-2. They had the lefty Rodon going up against the righty Casey Mize. And the Yankees scored 2 runs on 7 hits. 6 of them were singles. 3 walks, 8 strikeouts, a stolen base, 1 for 5, with runners in scoring position. They got 1 run on Mize across the 6 innings that he pitched. His splitter got a lot of whiffs. The 4-seam got some whiffs. The Yankees were, as per usual, taking a lot of pitches, a lot of called strikes. There was no pop, as was the theme of the series. But yeah, top of the first inning, the Yankees stranded Rice and Goldy with 2 outs. Top of the third inning, Rice picks up a 1-out triple. He's got more speed than people think. But then he gets picked off at third with Judge at bat. You just cannot do that. And so Detroit ends up scoring some runs, and top of the fifth comes along, and with the Yankees down 3-0, Judge picks up a 2-out RBI base hit. It's a ground ball past shortstop. They cut it to 3-1 Detroit. But then Bellinger strands 2 when he strikes out swinging. Detroit bullpen comes in, and the Yankees get 1 run in 3 innings on them. Top 7, the Yankees strand Austin Wells' leadoff base hit. Grisham flies out to deep center field, and then Volpe lines into a double play. So some tough luck there. But the top of the 8th inning comes, and with the Yankees down 5, Bellinger and Goldschmidt pick up a couple of 2-out base hits. Jazz reaches on an E4. Forget who it was at second base for Detroit, but a bobble and then an overthrow, so 2 errors in 1 play. Scores a run to make it 6-2. But that was it. The Yankees couldn't get any more than that. Top of the 9th comes. They go down 1-2-3. Goldy goes 2 for 4. Rice goes 1 for 2 with a triple and 2 walks. He led off in this game against the right-handed starter. Aaron Judge goes 1 for 3 with a walk and an RBI. Jason Dominguez did not play in this game. He sat, which I found interesting. Obviously, he was due for a day off. I figured they were going to sit him against the lefty Scooble. Tough lefty. Dominguez is not good from the right side. Grisham is a reverse splits guy from the left side. But I guess, Grisham coming off a hot game, hot series in Pittsburgh, you want to keep him in the lineup. That was it offensively. On the mound, you had Carlos Rodon, who went 6+ innings, 5 runs, 4 earned runs, 4 hits, 3 walks, 8 strikeouts, a home run, 103 pitches, and he gets the well-deserved loss. At least he pitched into the 7th inning, but he wasn't great. He, once again, completely unraveled after a bad call. And that seems to be a Rodon thing. He doesn't have the composure to keep shit together. But yeah, the bottom of the 3rd inning, it's a scoreless game at the time. But I think he was going a little too much breaking ball, and he walks Rogers and Kreidler. He didn't have any feel for his slider and curveball. Those pitches were out of the zone and didn't get any chases to them. So he walks them too, and then Ibanez steps up to the plate, and he crushes a 3-run home run, a back-breaking 3-run shot to put Detroit up 3-0. Usually when Rodon gives up home runs, it's off the 4-seam fastball. So this wasn't a home run that I really, want to dive too much into. It was actually a good pitch. It was a low changeup. He just Ibanez went down and got it. Might have knew it was coming, but yeah, no, this isn't like, Rodon has a home run problem, which he does, but this wasn't anything you dive into because his home run problem is his 4-seam. This was just a changeup that got hit. But he did issue the 2 walks, losing the zone with his breaking balls prior to. Bottom 4, the Yanks are down 3-1. This is when he gets hurt, elevating that 4-seamer. Cabrera makes the E5 at third base. He's been a little up and down at that position. Then he issues Rodon another issue. He issues another walk to Rogers. And then Malloy, he gives him a 95-mile-an-hour fastball up in the zone, and he picks up a 2-run base hit to put the Tigers up 5-1. You cannot leave a mid-velo fastball in the zone like that. If you're going to elevate. But if you're going to elevate, don't do it the way Rodon does it. He elevates in the zone. If you're going to elevate, it can't even be elevated just up over the zone. Like it's got to be chest high, above chest high. hitters today can catch up to 95. You can't throw that pitch anywhere close. He consistently does it, Rodon, and that's why his fastball's been a bad pitch. Bottom 7, Keith picks up a leadoff base hit. It was a slider that caught too much plate. Rodon's pulled for Adam Ottavino, who was cut like 8 times this year by the Yankees. That was it. He goes 6 plus 5 runs. So, I don't know. It wasn't... His stuff didn't seem terrible. You know, all the pitches he threw netted good results. He got whiffs. He had 8 strikeouts. It's just, the changeup got a ton of whiffs. He just got unlucky on that one pitch, and he lost his composure. He's not a fan favorite. And one of the reasons he's not is because of that, is because his body language on the mound isn't great. He's constantly being smug and battling with umpires, and he just doesn't let shit go. And, he goes out there in 20-degree weather, and he's got short sleeves on, and, he's a tough pitcher to watch because he's got talent, but it's never consistent. This is going to be the theme of Carlos Rodon's Yankees career. Never consistent. Kind of reminds me of Michael Pineda. I don't know if Yankees fans remember Pineda. Pineda had all the strikeout stuff in the world, but he just, outside of the Pine Tar season, he never found consistency. So that's Carlos Rodon. He's Michael Pineda. Adam Ottavino. Again, he came in for Rodon. Bottom 7, he punches out one batter, but then he issues 2 walks. He loses the zone with his fastball to the righty Rogers. And then because of the 3-batter minimum rule, he has to stay in to face the lefty Carpenter 2 at-bats later. He loses the zone with his fastball again to him, loads the bases, gets pulled for Tim Hill. Tim Hill gets a ground ball, but Jazz makes an error on the flip. A run scores to make it 6-1 Detroit. But Tim Hill ends up going a solid inning and 2/3. No runs, 1 hit. That was game 2. That was game 1 on Monday, where the Yankees lose 6-2. Game 2, Tuesday, 5-0 loss. You have the righty Carrasco going up against the lefty Derek Skubal, currently the best pitcher in baseball. The Yankee bats produced no runs on 6 hits, all of them singles, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts, grounded into 1 double play, and they were 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position. No runs in 6 innings on Derek Skubal. Top of the 1st, the Yankees stranded Goldy and Rice's pair of singles. Top of the 6th, Goldy and Judge pick up a pair of singles. The Yankees strand them 2. Herder comes in for the next 3. They get no runs on him. Top of the 8th inning, Goldy picked up a 2-out base hit. Rice strikes out swinging. Top of the 9th, Judge picks out a base hit. Volpe draws a walk, but Wells grounds into a double play to end the ballgame. Judge goes 2 for 4. Goldschmidt goes 3 for 4. Rice goes 1 for 4. Volpe 0 for 3 with the walk. On the mound for the Yankees in this game, Carlos Carrasco, who goes 4 1/3 innings, 4 runs, 6 hits, a walk, 3 strikeouts, a home run, 59 pitches, gets the loss. This is why, I never, ever, ever take spring training statistics serious. And this is why it drives me crazy when people do. Especially with 38-year-old veterans. It doesn't mean anything. Like, use your baseball knowledge. Carlos Carrasco pitching 15 innings in spring doesn't mean he's going to be good. Spring training is all about guys finding their footing and doing shit they wouldn't normally do. It's minor leaguers and rejects. Carlos Carrasco is old and he's washed. And he hasn't been good. He hasn't been good going on 3 seasons now. His stuff is as bad as Stroman's. Results-wise, he's been bad. And you look at the peripherals, like his secondary stuff, his StatCast, that's on a continuous decline. So, like, I'm sitting here watching him get shelled, and I'm like, I would love to know, other than pure delusion and beginning of the season optimism, like, what the hell made any of you think this was a good idea? If you did think it was a good idea. Like, when the Yankees signed Carrasco, I was like, yeah, no, this guy sucks. I'm like this. I said this guy's never going to break camp. And he probably wouldn't have if they didn't get hit with 800 injuries to their staff. But, like, there at the time, Jose Quintana was available. At the time, Kyle Gibson was available. Like, you're telling me they weren't better depth arms? Come on, those guys can still eat innings and produce to a degree. Don't want to play $5 million they're making? Like, come on. I'm sorry. I don't want to go on a whole friggin' off-season rant, but, like, yeah, Carrasco's not good, and I'm not expecting him to be good. Bottom of the second, man on third base, 91-mile-an-hour four-seamer, middle of the plate, deep sac fly, run scores. Then you get to the bottom of the fourth inning. That's a nightmare inning. Gives up 3 bombs. The Torkelson home run, he misplaces a slider with 0 movement up in the zone. McKinstry, it's a home run. It's a 90-mile-an-hour two-seamer up in the zone with no life. I go on Baseball Theater, and I look at the spin numbers on the two-seam. It was like in the 1,000s. Dingler hits a home run. It's another 90-mile-an-hour two-seamer coming in. You can't survive that way. Throwing 90-mile-an-hour slop in the big 2025, that won't work, man. It's not going to work, especially if your off-speed is as straight as an arrow. I said it entering the season. The key for Carrasco is to use less fastball. Stop throwing your fastball. His sinker, two-seam, whatever you want to call it, it's got some drop, but there's no velo and there's no horizontal break. And his four-seamer is a bad pitch with no break, and there's no velocity to that. Which is why his first start of the season, he was just 33% fastball, two-seam, four-seam, and he had a solid start. But yesterday, he was 56% fastball usage, and he gets shelled. You can't do that. You can't throw that pitch that consistently because it's not a good pitch. Your fastball's horrible. Stop throwing your fastball. The secondary stuff, not that it's great, but it's better. The changeup has some good drop on it. The slider and curveball, there's not really much hope there, but stop throwing your fastball. Your fastballs are not good pitches for you. He's a hard contact machine. He's a batting practice pitcher. He allowed 5 balls that were put in play to travel 100 miles an hour or faster. He allowed 9 hard hit balls, 95 mile an hour or faster. He's not a good pitcher, and he won't be. That's why when I wrote my article on BD4blog.com a couple of weeks ago, check that out, I said if Carlos Rodon can go out there for 4 2/3 and give up 3 runs, keep you in the game, that's a huge win. Like, that's going to be his average outings at best. Like, if Carlos Rodon is on, it's going to be something like that. So hopefully when Schmidt comes back, the Yankees don't play politics, but they will because they need the pitching depth, and I understand that at this point. But he's going to be here hopefully for not much longer, but it seems like he's definitely going to be here even when Schmidt returns. I can't watch this guy pitch. It's tough. So he's a big reason the Yankees lose game 2. Then you get to today, Wednesday. The Yankees win. Sorry, almost lost. The Yankees win 4-3. This was the fried rice game, where the lefty Max Fried went toe-to-toe with the righty Jack Flaherty. It was a good pitcher's duel. Yankees end up getting 4 runs on 7 hits, 1 home run, 2 walks, 13 strikeouts. They go 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position. Flaherty Goes 5 1/3, lets up no runs. Top of the second inning, the Yankees stranded a small village. You know, they had 2 on, nobody out. Volpe and Martian strike out swinging. Then they load the bases with 2 outs. Cabrera flies out to center field. Top of the 6th, they end up knocking Flaherty out of the game where Judge picks up a leadoff walk. Goldy hits a 1-out double to put runners on second and third, but the Yankees couldn't get the job done against Holton. Holton comes back out on the top of the 7th. That's when Ben Rice hits the 2-run home run off the top of the wall to make it 2-0 Yankees. Top 9, Brebbia comes into the game. Judge hits a 2-run single. Makes it 4-0 Yankees. That was a rough defensive inning for that catcher they have, Dingler. My God. Not a good game for that second baseman either. Jesus Christ. But yeah, that was it offensively. Max Fried was excellent. Luke Weaver got the job done. Devin Williams was a complete mess once again, to a point where Mark Leiter had to come in and save the day. He induces a pop-up to shallow center. Jazz catches it. Game ends right there. But I think that's where I kind of want to start. We'll start with some bad. I don't know, man. Devin Williams looks bad. Like, Devin Williams, this season, he's pitched in 4 games, 3 innings, 5 runs, 5 hits, 4 walks, 12 ERA, and a 3 whip. I want to preface by saying I do think he'll be fine. And I don't think that they should change his role already on April 9th. I think I'm hearing that already. I think that's insane. To be frank, I think that's insane. I think Devin Williams is miles better than Luke Weaver, and he's always been. He's got an amazing track record. Luke Weaver had a good year, and I think Luke Weaver will have another good year. But Devin Williams has had a good career. Okay, and to give the guy a little bit of a break, in 4 of his appearances, 3 of them have been non-save situations. So he's coming into a situation that he's not exactly comfortable in. Some closers, some pitchers are very particular. He's not. People are calling him Clay Holmes already. People are like, it's Clay Holmes 2.0. It's the ghost of Clay Holmes. It's funny, but he's not Clay Holmes, man. Clay Holmes pitched to contact with a weak infield and at times a poorly shifted infield. They were shifting some of their shifts made no sense. Got a guy who throws 2 seams. You were shifting to the left side. But Devin Williams is a strikeout artist with an elite changeup. You want that kind of guy there. And I do think he'll figure it out. But yeah, he's been bad. He's been bad. He's been awful. And something is off. And he's, the irrational part of me is annoyed with him right now. It's I'm just thinking of it this guy comes here, he's complaining about the facial hair policy. He gets the Yankees to change it, bitching about that. He misses some time. It's fine, you had a kid. But he comes back and he's still not sharp. And you look at him and the body language just doesn't seem like he's confident or doesn't seem like he's having a good time out there. He's done nothing but struggle in each of his outings, and it's been everything but advertised. So he's not exactly on the Yankees fan side right now. And, I want to get to something that I heard John Boy say. I listened to some of his podcasts earlier. The stuff is still there, which is almost a bad thing. And I'll get to what I mean in a second. But you look at his pitches, the eye test, everything passes. The airbender pitch that he's throwing, screwball, changeup, whatever you want to call it, it's still moving a ton. It's still got arm side action. it's still dropping off the table, but it's not getting whiffs. It's getting a lot of takes. Guys are spitting on it, and when they're swinging, they're making contact. And when he gets to two strikes and he's throwing that changeup, he's not putting anybody away. And that's odd because that pitch, he's got a track record of completely dominating with that pitch in those types of ways. Getting whiffs, getting strikeouts, putaways. It's been the opposite. And he's not been able to command it. The four-seamer, again, the stuff is similar, not too far off of what it usually is. The velo is average. The spin is average. I think what makes the four-seamer less effective this year, the arm angle is different. Like his arm angle, I was looking into his StatCast. His arm angle has dropped a couple of degrees each year. I think at his rookie season, he was 31-degree arm angle. It's like dropped a couple each year to where now it's at a career low 22 degrees. I found that interesting. I don't know if that's common, but I do think that has to do with a lot of his struggles. Arm angle plays a huge role in how certain pitches are effective and not effective. But yeah, last outing against Pittsburgh, the four-seamer was down, and it was primarily changeup. But Pittsburgh, Tommy Pham in that one at-bat was sitting changeup. And then today, he was less changeup and primarily four-seamer. Couldn't find the zone with the fastball. Walked a couple of batters, gave up a couple of hits on it. So hitters they're extremely comfortable sitting and waiting for four-seam fastballs, which that's not an elite pitch for him, spin and break and velocity-wise. So he needs the airbender pitch to be elite. And it's not been. But again, the stuff is all there. The movement, all that stuff has been the same as it's been in the past, which is a little concerning because, a good point I heard by John Boy on his podcast tonight, he was saying like he almost wishes that this stuff wasn't moving as well, because that would at least mean you can attribute it to the cold weather, and that once it gets warmer out, it'll start moving more. So it's almost like a bad thing that his stuff is not different right now. So maybe I'm overthinking it, but it's definitely a good point, and it's something to keep an eye on. And again, the arm angle thing I do find interesting. But Devin Williams has been absolutely terrible so far. Tough watch. Maybe that's a little strong. That's a little strong. But I mean, he's got a 12 ERA through 3 innings, so he's got to be better. Now on a positive, I want to tip my cap to somebody. And that's Max Fried. I thought Max Fried, man, was he awesome. Max Fried, today he goes 7 innings, no runs, 5 hits, no walks, 11 strikeouts, gets the win. He did what aces are supposed to do, right? The Yankees were on a 3-game losing streak. They were looking for their lefty ace to be the stopper. Stop me if you heard that before. CC Sabathia, who remembers that year where he was just dominant after losses. And he did exactly that. He gave the Yankees his first real, true Max Fried dominant start where it felt like the guy you signed for however much money they gave him, a ton of money, for record-breaking money. He gave them that. The Yankees needed innings because nobody in this rotation outside of Rodon has been able to give innings, and Fried. And Fried gave them their longest outing of the year. 7 strong innings. You could have argued he could have went back out there for the 8th, but the Yankees wanted to go Weaver to Williams. But 7 strong innings, 97 pitches to get through them, and he got better as the game progressed. Like his stuff, four-seamer is still tapping at 95, 96 late in the game. The big curveball was working. He was working deep in his bag, so he didn't really rely on one pitch. He used all of it to get his strikeouts today. a lot of good strikes and a lot of good whiffs with the four-seamer. But, I mean, he was going to the curve. He was going to the cutter. He was going to the two-seam. The sweeper and changeup he used to get some outs later in the game. So I thought he really... I like watching the guy, man. I really like watching Max Fried dive into his bag. And my buddy Russ from at NY Yankee Dad, he's got a podcast, makes a really good comparison. He always says he's like... he reminds him of Mike Messina. The way that he mixes up his pitches, and he's a lefty who's kind of crafty like that, gets a lot of softer contact. I think that's a good comparison. But, yeah, Max Fried, I'm tipping my cap to him for the second time this year. Continues to do his thing. I actually don't know if those graphics on the screen, the season statistics are correct, but I'm not sure if they're updated. But Max Fried was great. Not so great is this Yankees lineup. And I don't know if, like, this series, the Yankees picked up 20 hits, 17 of them were singles. They only hit one home run, and that's partially because they were not getting their pitches to hit. You know, they weren't getting pitches to hit at all. Like, they were just spammed with off-speed. And so, you know, in the first series or two of the year where, you know, you heard about the torpedo craze and they were just lighting it up, even in the Pittsburgh series. The regression's starting to come a little bit. You know, you're not facing Cortez's 90-mile-an-hour meatballs, and you're not facing Pittsburgh Pirates pitching, not named Paul Skeens. But, like, yeah, when you're facing guys like Corbin Burns, who's going to throw cutters, and you're facing a guy like Zach Gallen, who's going to throw curveballs in the zone. And in this series in particular, Casey Mize on Monday, spamming that splitter. He threw the splitter 16 times. The Yankees whiffed on it 75% of the time. They went 0 for 6 with 4 strikeouts on the pitch. Tarek Skubal on Tuesday, he was spamming his changeup. Jazz Chisholm said it in the postgame. A lot more off speed, a lot less fastball than we thought. He caught us off guard. He threw 25 changeups. He got 29% whiffs on it. The Yankees were 0 for 4. Jack Flaherty today, spamming the curveball, spamming the slider, getting a ton of swing and misses with those pitches. The Yankees haven't hit off-speed pitches well. They have a lot of dead fastball hitters, and that's something to watch. You know, they're a very patient team, but sometimes that can also come back to bite them where they don't swing in the zone or out of the zone. You know, they'll get pitches inside the zone, they won't swing. And that's something that's going to get pitchers to have the confidence to throw their breaking balls in the zone if they catch on to something like that. And that's what you saw in this series. But yeah, they have a lot of dead fastball hitters like Anthony Volpe, Ben Rice, Austin Wells, Cody Bellinger, Jason Dominguez, a lot of guys who feast on fastballs but struggle on off-speed and breaking, you know? And I think that attributed to why the Yankee lefties are really struggling. You know, everybody really except for Ben Rice. Ben Rice is on another level right now, quietly raking. Go to his Baseball Savant if you want to see a pool of red. But, like, Bellinger looks terrible up there. You know, on the year, he's got a 206 average with a 562 OPS. Cold weather, he's not hitting. He's a Los Angeles guy. That's why he hits better. You know, when he was with the Cubs in the cold weather at Wrigley, he was much better on the road. His better days came in LA. That can't be an excuse because you're on the East Coast. You're in the Bronx now where you're going to play half your games, and in October it's going to be even colder here. But he's been struggling. Dominguez has cooled off this series from both sides. I still believe in his lefty power. He had some good takes from the right side. He has some good takes. from the right side, but there is just no production there at all. So I still stand by my opinion where I think at some point this year, Jason Dominguez should definitely give up switch hitting and stick to hitting from the left side of the plate, because he's not been there. He's not been good from the right side since he was a pro in 2021. And he was bad in left field today. It's been iffy there. He's been doing the job to his standards. But like today, he fumbled that ball at the wall, lazily picks it up with his glove, bobbles it. It's just, yeah. McKinstry gets a triple out of it, or he advances to third out of it. Or whoever it was. I don't remember who it was. But he's not been hitting. Austin Wells has really slowed down. He didn't play today. But, the thing with Wells is Wells got off to a slow start last year, but the peripherals were decent. What's a little concerning is the slow start this year. It's not really backed up with anything positive when you look at his secondary numbers. It's April 9th, so I'm not looking at the results-based numbers, but I'm looking at, like how's the contact? How are the at-bats? Right? The expected numbers are awful. The barrel and sweet spot numbers are much less than what they were last year. He's chasing a lot more, and the walks are down, which was a key for Austin Wells last year. That is what he was known for when he wasn't hitting bombs. But the chase rate's up, the walks are down. He's going a lot more to the opposite field, too. He's pulling it slightly less, but he's up the middle a lot less. And he's kind of replaced that with batted balls to left field, which is not good because when you're in Yankee Stadium, that's a ton of real estate. And it's not where you want someone like Austin Wells hitting it, who's not exactly a guy with quick foot speed. You want him slugging, you want him pulling, you want him staying away from the opposite field. Now, the positive is that even during these struggles, Austin Wells' strength is still there. Like the exit velo and the bat speed numbers are a lot higher than what they were last year. And he's hitting the ball in the air still. So that's a positive takeaway from that. Jazz Chisholm's been really bad. His whole shtick is fun when he's hitting and when the Yankees are winning. But when he's not hitting, I forgot how much I can't stand him when he's not. It just brought me back to the postseason. Like, he's up there complaining to home plate umpires every single call that doesn't go his way. He's complaining about playing in the cold weather. You should be fortunate to be playing for the New York Yankees. Like, you're playing baseball. You're getting paid to do this shit. Could never imagine. Old man's kicking in me. But I could never imagine Jeter doing that. But no, it does bother me. The whole thing, like, Jazz is fun when he's hitting, but man, I've always, been skeptical of him as a hitter because of the way he swings up there. Like, his approach is not a good approach. It's not an approach that you teach young hitters. And the power is still there. He's barreling the ball a ton. He's 98th percentile in barrels this year, and I'm sure the torpedo bat has a lot to do with that. The slugging numbers are there, the home runs, the extra base hits, those numbers are good. The expected numbers, right? Expected batting average, expected slug, weighted on base, those are all good. But I do think at some point, when you continuously swing out of your shoes at every single pitch, it will not yield results. And you're starting to see that in these last couple of series. He's just got one of the worst two-strike approaches I've ever seen. It's up there with Castro. It's up there with Andujar. It leads to a ton of whiffs, horrible on-base percentage, a horrible walk rate, an insanely bad, historically awful K rate at the moment. He's just on this two-series stretch of where he's done absolutely nothing. So the Yankees need these guys bad, these lefties. Because you're seeing it. You're seeing opposing managers start to line up left-handed pitching starters more and more and more. The Yankees are seeing one or two lefties a series. And then you get to the bullpen, it's even worse. They're literally facing only lefties out of the pen. And it gets worse when the Yankees use one of their lefty bats on the bench to come into the game, because then they're creating a lane for 3 consecutive lefty bats in a row for a left-handed relief pitcher to face. That's a problem. Wells this season has an OPS that's 190 points lower against lefties. On Tuesday in the top of the 7th inning, A.J. Hinch went to his lefty so he could face Wells, and he got him striking out. Jazz Chisholm this season, his OPS is 100 points lower against lefties. Today in the top of the 6th inning, Hinch goes to his lefty to get Jazz to ground into a fielder's choice. And so with Bellinger hitting up top before you get to Jazz, that's where I think Paul Goldschmidt makes a lot more sense. Goldy has led off 7 times this season and 4 times cleanup. I would love for the Yankees to keep him in between Jazz and Belly. I want Goldschmidt in between lefties so he can protect them. Right? Put your lefty masher in between your 2 lefties. You know? So this way you can mitigate those lanes. This way, when they go to their lefties in the pen, you have Goldschmidt in between. So I think it's a smart strategy, but yeah, the Yankee lefties have got to figure this out so they're not such a liability when you're getting to these late game scenarios where you have these lanes and these relievers are allowed to mow you down 1, 2, 3 like that. It's just the handedness can't be consecutive like this. But speaking of Paul Goldschmidt, I want to tip my cap to the veteran because I thought he was the best this series. Paul Goldschmidt was 7 for 11 in this series with a double. That's a 1363 OPS, a 636 batting average, 8 total bases. He's hitting lefties exceptionally well. He's got a 611 average on lefties. It's an 889 slug. His OPS against left-handed pitching this year is 1,054 points higher so far than what it is against righties. So he's 12 games into his Yankees career, and the early returns have looked great. And could he keep this up? I don't know. Remember, he had a solid second half last year, so is this a carryover? Was he washed? Was it just a tough first half? You know, he's been a straight-up base hits machine. You know, single. Kind of reminds me of when DJ LeMahieu first came here to a lesser degree, but I love it. Hard hit singles, using all fields. It's fun. He's been good. So his first cap tip of the year. Real quick, let's go to the bullpen. Tip my cap to Tim Hill, who pitched in the first game of this set. Again, he came in, you know, unfortunately a run scored there when Jazz made the error, but he finished by going an inning and 2/3, no runs, even struck out a batter. Yeah, good for him. He continues to do his thing coming out of the bullpen, throwing from that low arm slot, throwing that sinker, getting ground balls, soft contact, continuing to do his thing. He had a rough start in his second appearance of the season, but other than that, he's been pretty nails for them. We'll see how long it lasts. And I think that's it regarding this series. Up next for the Yankees, you've got, who do you have? You have a day off tomorrow. Okay, so you don't play tomorrow on Thursday. And then you begin a 6-game homestand where the Yankees will be tested. They've got the Giants for 3. They've got the Royals for 3. And you could even say it's like a 9-game homestand because when they wrap up this 6-gamer, they've got 3 games against the Rays at Steinbrenner. So, but 3 games against the Giants this weekend. So maybe it's the Giants are off to a good start. They've not been making the postseason in recent years, but they are off to a good start. San Diego is also, but the Giants, I believe, are in second. The Dodgers they're not too hot right now. And nobody else in that division is either, other than the Padres. So, solid offense so far from the Giants. You know, I think they're top 10 in both home runs and runs scored. Their pitching's off to a really solid start, second in ERA. The rotation's 12th. The bullpen's 3rd. New additions like Chapman and Adames haven't exactly taken off yet. Verlander's there. Jordan Hicks is off to a strong start in year 2 with the team. But your Friday matchup will be Stroman versus Robbie Ray, the lefty. So you got 2 dinosaurs going up against each other. Saturday, you got Warren versus Jordan Hicks. That could be a fun pitcher's duel. And then Sunday, you got Rodon versus Logan Webb. Webb is a solid-ass pitcher. Webb is solid. He's off to a really hot start. But he's had a good career with San Francisco. I'm always like, why can't Rodon even just be what Webb is doing? Like, if you go and look up Logan Webb's numbers, if Rodon was doing that, that's perfectly fine to what he's making. But he can't even do that. I wish Rodon was Logan Webb. But that's it. That's what we got. We got 3 games against the Giants coming up. So let's see if we can win. Now, with that said, we're going to head to break. And when we get back, we're going to get to our trivia to wrap this up. Stay with us. Be back in a minute. BD4 is available on social media for those who want to follow. You can find BD4 on Instagram at BD4Pod. You can find us on X at BD4Pod. And you can find us on Facebook by simply searching BD4. Hey guys, just a quick reminder, this podcast is also available in video format on YouTube. So be sure to go over to the YouTube channel, BD4, subscribe, like the videos, comment and tell me how much I suck or maybe how much you like the video. We'd very much appreciate it. Don't have time to sit down and watch a video? You can listen to BD4 on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Don't forget to give us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. And you can also watch the video format on Spotify too. If you feel like supporting the podcast, you can Venmo at Robert-Carbone-JR-28. We really appreciate your support. Do you enjoy Yankees baseball but are tired of hearing me yap? I have a suggestion for you. Go check out Yankee Crazy Podcast. Greg Gill is a Yankees podcaster on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And he's now selling merch. Go to yankeecrazy.myshopify.com. Stay connected with us. Visit BD4blog.com to explore our blog, tune into our latest podcasts, and follow us on social media. Thank you for being a part of this community. All right. For this episode 843, our trivia question here to wrap this up. In 13 postseason games against the Tigers, how many have the Yankees won? All right. In 13 postseason games against the Tigers, how many have the Yankees won? All right, so let me know the answer wherever you can reach me. If you get the answer correct, give you a shout out in the next episode. That's it. Appreciate you all tuning in. It's late. It's 11 p.m. as I finish recording this, so I'm going to put this up, drop it on social media, drop it on the platforms that you can listen to and watch it on, and I'm going to bed. Appreciate it. Go Yankees. See you soon. Well, if you made it this far, that means you listened to or watched the entire episode. Thank you. Just remember to follow, subscribe, download, rate and review, and all that fun stuff to help out the podcast. And I will see you in the next episode of BD4.